Region Sports Network provides live video coverage of the Indiana High School Boys Basketball Tournament as the Merrillville Pirates take on the Chesterton Trojans in the Class 4A Sectional 2. I'm Captain Malater, all the play-by-play for all tonight's action. And joining me with the killer analysis is Wally McCormick. Hey, long time no see, Wally.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm glad you made it back.
I am too. It was a quick intermission as Valparaiso recently just defeated the Hobart Brickies to advance to tomorrow night's sectional championship game. So the winner has a date with the Valpo Vikings. Will it be a second matchup for Chesterton or a second matchup for Merrillville after Valpo winning by a final of 49-39? Flipping to the second matchup, Chesterton has already played one game in this state tournament. They defeated Portage on Tuesday night. What was the biggest takeaway you had from their 56-46 W over the Indians?
Defensively, they're really good, and they having seen both of those games, they made some adjustments defensively and that were really effective. This is a team that lives at the three-point arc, and when they have nights where they shoot well from the three-point arc, they're trouble. Chesterton comes into this game with a 20-4 record. Head coach Mark Urban in his 10th year is 195-60. In simple, folks, that means he's averaging 19.5 wins. So 20 wins that's what that program's done now for the last decade. Merrillville coming in, Bo Patton, the head coach, he's 68-96 in his 7th year. 6-16 on the season. Record's a bit deceiving. They started out the season 2-13. I know they got some kids on the roster that went through that long football run that maybe didn't get here earlier, or didn't get to participate earlier. They're playing better right now. The two teams played on January 10th. Chesterton beat them by 19. Since that time, Chesterton's 9-2 and Merrillville's 5-7. So Merrillville's second half of the season has certainly been better. On paper, right? Mm-hmm. Chesterton's the heavy favorite, but we don't play the games on paper, and I'm sure that's what Coach Patton and his staff have been telling his kids all week. How about we go over there into their gym and pull off an upset?
And to the point about Merrillville, that 19-point loss at home to Chesterton, you look at the regular season, though, they went 2-2 against the 4 sectional opponents. I know 2 are eliminated in Hobart and Portage, but still 500 record against the sectional opponents during the regular season this year.
Yeah, and they, Merrillville traditionally plays some tough teams on their schedule. So Christmas break, everybody in the region now was going somewhere. And most of them are going down towards Indy and playing against some good teams. And really, I think it just shows the maturity of the coaches that who cares what your record is at the end of the day. Like everybody, it'd be nice to be undefeated, but you play against better teams that get you ready for your conference games and it gets you ready for the tournament. So I know that Merrillville in the past has gone to some tournaments in Chicago or gone that direction or gone down to Indianapolis. And, hey, everybody in the state of Indiana gets in this tournament. So right now everybody's sitting here, and if you lose tonight, you're turning your stuff in. So
win or your season's done. That's the mission for both these sides tonight. We'll take a quick 60-second break. When you come back, starting lineups and tip-off. You're watching coverage of the 2026 Indiana High School Basketball Tournament on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Since 1998, customers have enjoyed Chicago dogs, Italian beef, burgers, Polish, and of course the gyros, all from the original George's Gyro Spot in Chesterton. Located at 325 North Calumet Road, George's Gyro Spot prides itself on fast, friendly service at affordable prices. Open 7 days a week, George's Gyro Spot offers dine-in or carry-out. To place an order, call 219-926-5435 or go to georgesgyrospot.com to check out their menu and to place your online order. The original George's Gyro Spot.
Have you heard? Stratton Manteau was voted Best of the Region 2025 in several categories, including Best Caterer, Deli, Flower Shop, Food and Grocery Delivery, Fried Chicken, Place to Buy Produce, Place to Buy Seafood, Loyalty Program, and Grocery Store. We're proud to be recognized by our community, and we're committed to continuing to deliver the variety, value, and convenience you deserve. See for yourself what it means to be the best when you shop at Stratton Manteau.
Welcome back. We'd like to remind everyone that tonight's video stream is powered by Absolute Power Systems in Griffith, providing exceptional service for industrial engines, pumps, and generator power systems. For more info, visit AbsolutePowerSystems.com. Absolute Power Systems, powering your business Absolutely. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's contest. We start with the visitors, the Merrillville Pirates. 6-16, 2-5 in Newland competition. 6'1" junior guard Michael Hill in the backcourt, accompanied by 5'9" senior guard Caden Thompson and 6'4" sophomore guard Charles Hardiman. The front court features 6'5" senior guard forward combo Josiah Jones and 6'5" sophomore forward Idris Nori. For Chesterton, 20-4, 6-1 in Duneland play. TJ Ray, Logan McCorney, Jalen Watts, Bradley Basilla, and Caden Snyder. Chesterton in the whites, Merrillville in the purple. It deflects out of bounds, and we're going to Merrillville's way to begin this contest.
So a heck of a start. Basilla showing off his weight room right there with, and Picorni pancakes Urban on the sideline. It's a heck of a start.
Chesterton won the only regular season matchup in Duneland Conference play by 19 points. That was a couple of weeks ago. Here's Jones. Gave on off to Nori. Caden Thompson averaging a couple of assists as the quarterback of this Merrillville offense.
Yeah, and Chesterton's coming out in their traditional man-to-man, overplaying the passing lanes. The only guy that won't will be Caden Schneider because, you know, he's kind of their rim presence. But Basilla and those guys are really trying to deny everything one pass away, making it difficult on Merrillville.
Thompson backs on out. First possession really taking up a minute off the clock as Schneider swaps it out of the hands of Nori.
Great possession if you're Chesterton.
Here's Watts, who draws a foul. It's on Michael Hill. The name pretty familiar with a lot of Region sports fans as well.
You know, and we have a different officiating crew here, and what you see right off the bat is that was a friendly bump in the first game, and you know, I could tell you this. I hope that we defend Michael Hill better in the basketball game than we did in the football game. Because that guy is unbelievable. He's as good a quarterback as I've been coaching football around here for 36 years. He's as good a player as I've ever seen in Northwest Indiana. He's something special.
Man, wasn't he spectacular during that football season, to your point? And he's come in. He's only played 6 games through that extended football run they went on. As Hardiman can't connect on his first shot attempt of the night. We're still scoreless 90 seconds in.
Yeah, that's a good take, though. Aggressive going to the basket.
Snyder nearly lost it there. Back out with TJ Ray. Ray, he can pull it from that range. Elects to cross it into the corner. Basilla gets the flyby through contact, and he's going to the line for a pair. I believe Nori's going to get called for the bump on the baseline. He will. It's the team's second foul.
Yeah, and Chesterton's going to run a lot of dribble handoffs and a lot of high ball screens, right? And you know, Merrillville's got to make a decision on what are they going to do with those. Are they going to go over them, or are they going to come under them? If they go under them, TJ Ray and Logan Picorni are going to shoot threes.
Watts open in the corner, and he rattles it home for the game's first points.
It's a really good shooting team. Everybody on the floor right now is a good three-point shooter for Chesterton.
Look at the move here by Thompson. Ray all over him. Jones backing down Basilla, gave it off to Nori, and Basilla swats it.
Well, and that's he beat Caden Schneider off the dribble, and Basilla with the help side defense in the block.
Basilla on the drive. A high-arcing shot falls off the window.
Hey, he's just a sophomore. He's getting better and better.
Here is Michael Hill, the quarterback of the Pirates football team, quarterbacking the offense here in the sectional semis.
It's the Pirates trying to run a set play here. We got 5.
Another turnover, and here is Gunnar Ello making an appearance for the first time. Schneider gets a breather. Ello was, quiet on the scoreboard in Tuesday night's win over Portage, but man, were his minutes crucial that 10-point win for the Trojans.
Well, and to make it, to make slide of it, but he doesn't get paid to score.
No,
they're asking him to guard, they're asking him to rebound, they're asking him to rotate over and play help defense.
Basilla overzealous. Here's Hill, good fake inside, and he scores.
Super athletic. Oh, had him in the post.
McCorney stops his dribble. Ello down low, and a hand check called on Jones. Already 3 fouls in the quarter for Merrillville defensively.
And so at this pace, it could be a long quarter because we're 2 fouls away from Chesterton going to the free throw line every time something happens.
Malachi Ransom enters. Jalen Watts takes a seat.
And their 4-cross look right now, you could just get Basila on a post up, or he's going to pop up and then Ella will screen for him.
We go to Basilo in the post.
There you go. There's a lob. Didn't get it. Nice defense by Merrillville.
Travel on TJ Ray. Basket erased.
Yep. Nice setup. Nice scheme. Put your shooter out of bounds. Try to get the backdoor lob, and if you don't get it, you got TJ, who's a shooter, coming off for a 3.
46% from distance this year was TJ Ray. He did make the shot, albeit well after the whistle.
Yeah. But as a team, they shoot over 40%, which is pretty remarkable for a high school team.
Yeah, 41% is the exact tally entering this semifinal matchup tonight. Here's Caden Thompson, stopped his dribble, catch and shoot for Josiah Jones, and he ties the game.
Nice shot, good quick release.
Third in the Newman Conference in blocks per game, but he gets Merrillville's first 3-pointer of the night. Basila steps back for 3. Tried to bank it in, and the glass was unkind.
Yeah, I don't think Coach Urban loved that.
Norrie backing down Basila. Tough shot, can't fall.
Good job of Basila not committing a foul. Nice catch.
Ello underneath, and he gets it to go.
Oh, the big fella. You telling me he can't play tight end? He can play tight end right now. Nice catch. Nice feed. And the idea here is this. If you're not going to get this defensive rebound and you're the other post player, run to the rim. And if you hustle down the floor, you'll get rewarded.
Watts re-enters. Ransom exits. And Tommy Caspade enters for Chesterton. Roderick Durant Hicks enters for the first time tonight for Merrillville. He will give Josiah Jones a breather. Durant Hicks, a 6'3" senior guard. Ello can't get it to plop in, and there's Michael Hill using that strength from football season to his advantage to get that rebound.
Yeah, and Caspade gives Chesterton a little height off the bench. They got him listed as 6'6". He spends most of his time guarding post, but he's on a guard right now.
Hardiman, the team's leading scorer, still searching for his first points, and he draws a foul. It's on the floor.
Yeah, and so with the ball screens, Chesterton's trying to blitz him, and the defender who's guarding the guy setting the screen is jumping out high to make him, to hedge him, to make him go backwards, and a nice read by the Merrillville guy to turn it down and go the other direction.
Durant Hicks back out for a Hill. That was the biggest thing Mark Urban said when we talked to him was we got to contain Hardiman. He did too much damage against us in the regular season matchup. Norrie got his own rebound, backing in on Ello, picks up his dribble off the block, can't fall. Durant Hicks swats at it, so does Hill. It deflects off the leg of Picorni, but they're going to give the ball to Chesterton.
Yeah, they call him a foul.
Or a foul, rather.
So Hill's got 2.
And that's the team's 4th. And Bo Patton is livid on the Merrillville bench right now. As Cameron Jones will enter, I think this is going to be for Hill as well, too. There's actually the 5th foul, rather. So Chesterton shooting the rest of the first quarter.
Yeah. There's a lot of time left here, 2-3 minutes.
Corney has his first point of the night as Cam Jones enters for Michael Hill, 5'8" sophomore guard. Jones, though, 17 games played, he's averaging 9.5 a night.
Yeah, that's double figures with the guard coming off the bench. That's a nice contribution. So for, if you're Merrillville, you don't consider him a sub. He's a guy that plays all the time and gives you good minutes. Chesterton as a group's not a great shooting free throw team. As well as they shoot threes, you'd think they'd be better at it, but Picorni steps up and hit both and gives the Trojans a nice little 4-point lead here at 3 minutes to go left in the quarter.
As Hardiman gets fouled, driving to the basket. Yeah, to your point, Chesterton enters tonight shooting just 64% from the line as a team. Merrillville not much better, though. They're only 67% at the stripe. 3 minutes flat in the first remaining. Inbounded, Hardiman got doubled and still looks for his first point. It falls right back to Hardiman, up and under and left it shy.
Gunnerello battling down there.
Cross court, Picorni. Swatted by Jones. Clean contact there.
Yeah, and ever since the first possession, they're letting him play a little bit.
And jump ball. They triple team Gunnerello. And they flip the arrow. It will retain with Chesterton, but they do flip the arrow.
Yeah, so it's as good as a turnover.
Or they'll flip the arrow after the inbounds, I should say.
All right, here you go. That same 4-cross look.
The lob goes to Basila.
Back screen. Oh, had him that time because they switched with a little.
Ray was open for three. It's short. Basila saves the possession for the second. And now here comes Merrillville the other way. Pulling up in transition for three was Jones. No foul called as Ello may have gotten a piece of his hand. Bo Patton beside himself. Ello underneath is open for the score.
Nice pass by Jalen Watts. Forced the defense to rotate up and then hit the open man. Good finish.
6-point advance for Chesterton with 2 to play in the first. Hardiman, they need to get him going. And he still can't find a bucket so far. Got his own rebound in there. It's his first points of the night.
Pirates very aggressive on the offensive glass.
He's third in the Newland Conference in points per game this season. Hardiman is 19.5 a night during the regular season. TJ Ray bounces it and got it right back. 90 seconds to go and a foul is called. Nope, sorry, 3 seconds in the lane. Basila, the infraction. How often do you see that get called in a high school game as Bo Patton burns his first time out?
You know, it would be different, too, if he was posting up, but they were trying to work a high ball screen. He was just kind of hanging out down in the baseline.
It's a full timeout. We'll take it with them. 1:32 to go, 11-7. Chesterton out in front. You're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Four Seasons Mechanical proudly serves Northwest Indiana, providing quality, reasonably priced, reliable service. With a quality and comfort guarantee, the professionals at Four Seasons Mechanical offer a wide range of services in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Whether it's residential or commercial, Four Seasons Mechanical is there 24/7. To find out more, the website is fourseasonsmechanical.com or give them a call at 219-756-7020. Four Seasons Mechanical, your indoor air quality specialist.
Headquartered in Griffith, Indiana, Absolute Power Systems has been delivering top-notch service since 2004, with a team of skilled technicians boasting extensive training on some of the biggest names in the business, like Cummins, Caterpillar, John Deere, Volvo, and more. They focus on providing exceptional industrial engine service and generator power system maintenance and repair. Check them out on the web at absolutepowersystems.com. Absolute.
Welcome back. 90 seconds left in the first quarter in a 4-point game. Merrillville trying to get across the timeline they can. Hardiman gets around Hewig for a second and draws a foul.
Which, and those are the kind of fouls that drive coaches nuts. That guy's 45 feet away, the other guy's 2 feet away. I'm guessing that Herb's having that conversation with him right now.
There's Caden Thompson driving the baseline, and he traveled. Lost his footing. A note to our Chesterton viewers real quick. Georgia's original Euro spot is presenting RSN Game Night coverage of tonight's Chesterton game right here on Region Sports Network. Georgia's Euro spot, the original Georgia's Euro spot at Chesterton, 219-926-5435.
So Merrillville trying to change it up a little bit with a little half-court trap.
Watts on a handoff for Ello, who stumbled. Open in the corner, Picorni wanted it. Good recovery by Cameron Jones. Watts on the other corner tries. Can't hit. Ello keeps the possession alive. Watts one more time. No. He recovers and he flies in for the score.
Jalen was going to score on that trip, no matter how many times it's up.
There was no denying him.
We say it every game, you know, you can't give up offensive rebounds. And when you give people multiple opportunities to shoot at the basket in the same possession, the end result is usually not very good for the defense.
So Noah Martin enters for the first time. Josiah Jones rejoins for the Pirates. Gets into the corner. Good fake by Jones. And he can't get the three to fall. 28 seconds left. Chesterton can essentially hold for the final shot if they want to. They look to go quick here, though. And now they'll slow it down with 20 seconds left.
Yeah, my guess is they're content to play for one, but you know that doesn't mean if they don't get a drive opportunity, they're going to take it. I think Merrillville's content to just sit here in the stance, try to keep him on this half of the floor, get close enough to him so that the officials make it the 5-second count.
The corner open with 3 seconds. He hits. Hardiman lets it go. Oh, he almost hit it.
Good execution by Chesterton, running that set play there at the end of the quarter.
It's a 9-point Chesterton lead at the quarter break. We've played one. You're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
With electrical services from Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, you can radiate the perfect amount of light and energy into your home. From rewiring and code upgrades to ceiling fans, lighting, security, and more, Economy Electric Heating and Cooling's trained electricians will make sure you can enjoy your home on full power all the time. For a free estimate on electrical work, call Economy Electric Heating and Cooling at 219-923-4441, and you can visit them on the web at 4ajobdoneright.com. That's the number 4ajobdoneright.com.
Game Night Forecast brought to you by our friends at Economy Electric Heating and Cooling. Tonight's forecast, 62 degrees outside, still raining. However, we're perfectly warm and dry inside. That's the Game Night Forecast brought to you by Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer and cozy in the winter. Second quarter, I should say, is here. After that long first quarter, 16-7. Chesterton with the first quarter edge, a 9-point lead. Largest of the game for either side. We've been tied one time. Only Chesterton has led. Josiah Jones fouled going to the rack.
And Schneider went for the block there, and he's going to get called with the body, I guess. Said he got him on the arm.
His first personal foul. Be sure to stay connected with all things Region Sports, as we are always active on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, and at our website at regionsports.com. Celebrating over 25 years, we're proud to still be the only game in town. Josiah Jones hit that big three-pointer to tie the game in the first quarter. Hits there.
Yeah, he's pretty athletic off the dribble. You know, elevating that time and going up. Schneider's 6'8" with his outstretched arms going over the top of him. He now hit the 2 free throws.
And he leads all Merrillville scores with 5. He's a big defensive presence. He was third in the Duneland in blocks per game this season. Here's Watts. Thought about a catch and shoot. Gave it off to Ransom on the wing. Schneider to Ransom again. Against Noah Martin. Ransom stops his dribble. Bad pass, and it's taken away. Here's Charles Hardiman working against 2 bigs. Hardiman, tough angle, can't fall.
That would have been a really tough finish. Kind of got behind the backboard.
Watts deflected, going the other way.
Nice idea there. Roderick Durant Hicks tried to take the charge, which ended up altering the shot, and you know they don't end up making it.
Mark Ribbon clamoring for a flop on the Michael Hill, setting up shop for a charge.
And you know it's a bit risky here, I think, for the Pirates to put Michael Hill back in the game. You know, to start off the second quarter with him having 2 fouls, but the coach obviously has faith in him and his ability to play in foul trouble.
Jones on the interior, a good kick out. Martin, Jones, They dive for it. Jones got it right back. And that one goes for, actually check that, Roderick Durant Hicks. 5-point game.
Yeah, and TJ tried to take a charge there, but might have leaned backwards a little bit before the contact, so they no call, which is probably a good no call.
I think 2 good no calls on both ends, on both those block charge attempts.
Yeah, and Jalen had Bradley on an isolation in the post and missed him.
Ray can't hit, and Basila, that's a dumb foul. That is the first foul of the quarter, but it is Basila's first foul.
It always makes me laugh when somebody commits a foul and then holds both of their hands up.
Yeah, especially one that obvious, too.
I've never seen an official at that point say, you know what, you're right. You didn't do it.
I messed it up.
Yeah.
Hardiman. Josiah Jones was there, and now Durant Hicks. Hill back to Durant Hicks. Spins back baseline.
Nice challenge.
Oh,
this is another one of those that makes you, the guy 2 feet away doesn't call it, and the guy out in half court does. And Herb's going to ask him, that guy's 5 feet away, why are you calling it? And his response is going to be, because I saw it. I don't know whether he got him or didn't get him. I will take the official's word for it, but
that's a tough one as well, too, to take. There's Roderick Durant Hicks. Wow, bounces in. Sometimes you're going to be lucky than good, right?
Yeah, and that hit about every part of the rim there before it bounced down in.
Senior guard. 47% the line this season, but goes 2 for 2, and all of a sudden it's a one-possession game.
Yeah, and the Pirates are getting it done at the free throw line. All right, so the Merrillvilles change their defense here. They switch out here to a little bit of a zone. 2-3, they just start with an odd front and rotate in it off the first pass.
Hills was the odd man. Now Watts gets taken away by Hill from the backside. Michael Hill slows it down. Finds Martin. The lob is deflected off the side of the backboard. And now they throw it away. No, they don't. Hill last touch.
And in comparison to the previous game, this game's being played in fast forward.
Ella will rejoin for the Trojans, and he will give Basila a breather. Or check that, Ransom. He pointed at Basila. And Mark Urban said, no, get Malachi instead. Second quarter, 5:25 to go, 16-13 Trojans in front. Chesterton in white, Merrillville in the purple. Ray fires for 3. Look at another offensive rebound for Gunnar Ello. TJ Ray down
nice
low.
Look.
Basila underneath, can't hit it. Ello another offensive rebound.
Ello right now was killing it on the boards.
And now a reach-in foul. I believe they're going to get Durant Hicks. Yes, they will. That was chaotic.
Yeah, and Chesterton coach Tim Ray's telling Gunnar, you get the rebound, put it back up. You're doing all that work, battling there. Hey, might as well get rewarded.
Getting it in time for Corning. Inside, Basila. Backs down Jones. Through the double. No. And it's a flex to Noah Martin, who recovers the rock for Merrillville.
Josiah Jones is doing a good job of challenging Basila's post shots, and he's altered some shots, and Basila hasn't been able to finish down there in a post.
Timeout, Merrillville. Bo Patton didn't like the look there. 30-second timeout will stay here. Second timeout of the night for Merrillville. And to let you all know that the Chesterton Basketball Club is the official feeder program for Chesterton High School boys basketball. Whether they are new to the game or looking to improve their skills, CBC offers opportunities for all boys in grades 2 through 6. Scott Miller, Wally McCormick with you. Winner to take on Valparaiso in the sectional championship game tomorrow night right here on the Region Sports Network. Valparaiso, an impressive victory after a weird kind of wacky game where Valparaiso absolutely dominated the second quarter. Holbert did the same to Valpo in the third quarter. Vikings, though, advanced and now get to play scout.
Yep. And, being within the same conference and having played, everybody knows everything that the other teams are doing. You watch that, Chesterton calls out a play on offense and 5 Merrillville guys are pointing out where they're going to go. Everybody's scouted and prepared, but, you get to sit here and watch the guy that you're potentially going to be guarding or that's going to be guarding you and try to see if there's any little tell that you can get. And plus, these guys are high school basketball fans too, so they just want to watch a good game.
Hill has to get rid of it to avoid a 5. He does. 3-point game. Chesterton led by as many as 9 in the first quarter. Hardiman.
He
walked.
And I thought he was going to get Gunnar Ello for a foul and committing the cardinal sin, right? If you double team and trap somebody, don't reach. What they call the travel. Cooper Hewig coming to the game for the Trojans.
There's your guy.
Yeah, it's my guy right there, Dirk Nowitzki. 6'3" sophomore. Kind of runs like Dirk. Good 3-point shooter.
Thompson picks up Ray full court. Hewig looking underneath. Ello.
Nice kick.
Corny open. Yes, sir.
Inside out. Nice job. And that all starts with TJ Ray's ability to keep his eyes up, bringing the ball down the floor and see that trap coming and get the pass off before the trap gets there.
Norrie spins back inside. Tough take. Doesn't fall. Good rebound, Durant Hicks. Tipped around. Kept alive by Caden Thompson. His runner goes.
You can't let him have 4 shots on a possession. Give Merrillville credit.
Thompson got a little overzealous there.
Yeah, give the Pirates credit for crashing the boards offensively.
Schneider enters, and Ello gets another well-earned rest. (19-15), really good first half so far.
Yeah, and Hill's made it 5 minutes here this quarter with the 2 fouls without picking up his third, so good smart basketball on his part.
A little bit of debris fell onto the court, so they clean it up, and we'll go side out here with TJ Ray on the inbounds for Bradley Basilla, and Ray will replace.
Yeah, and we've seen, different philosophies from coaches over the course of the season. Some people are trying to score off that side inbounds and play at half court, and some teams like Chesterton are just content to get it in and run their stuff.
Basilla looking for options. Schneider to his right, and now Picorni. Deep look. Oh!
And he's got the ability to get hot and score a lot of points in a small amount of time. And he's hit 2 in a row, but right now he's feeling it.
Back up to a 7-point edge. Thompson, Hill, baseline, looking to respond. That one deflects and kept alive. Nice hustle by Schneider. They don't have numbers. Picorni, that would have been a heat check. Here's Hewig. Team heat check. No. And that is out of bounds.
Coop. Jeez. From the Indiana logo.
Yeah.
They don't give you 4 for that.
No.
And, I go back to it. I just said it again. Like the maturity that TJ Ray plays with. He's only a junior, but he's played so many minutes over the course of the last 3 years. He does a good job of getting them in what they want to do. You talk about Michael Hill doing those same kind of quarterback things in the basketball court, and that's kind of how TJ Ray is. He doesn't care if he scores.
Whoa. Jones splits the double team. Can't finish, though. Corney waiting for options. Jones in his face, and a foul called away from the basketball.
They're going to be on Basilla in the post. You're on Cameron Jones. Cameron Jones. Hey, if I'm Cameron Jones, I don't blame him. He's 5'8". Get a little arm bar or a little something in there. No use giving up that post possession for Bradley to dunk.
Yeah. Ransom needs to get it in to avoid a 5. Schneider was there. 2:22 to go. Still 22-15. Picorni.
Ransom's got the ability to penetrate here, but Merrillville's doing a good job in their help side defense of giving you a visual that there's people there.
Ransom blows by Jones, finds an open Hewig in the corner.
That's what he does. Coop shoots threes. Nice take by Malachi and a good kick out.
Wide
great
open
pass.
underneath Nori. That's a much-needed score to break the drought.
Yep, a little miscommunication there on the ball screen, and he recognizes it and takes advantage.
Basila backing down Nori. Tough shot and it falls.
Basila's better in the post when he goes over his left shoulder. He's able to crab dribble, get into the middle of the lane.
Wow. That falls for Caden Thompson. Inside the final 90 seconds in the half. Ransom. McCorney open off an off-ball screen. Long, and that deflects off the face of Josiah Jones.
Yeah, that three looked like it was in. Just hit hard off the back of the rim.
It really did.
It's a big minute and 5 seconds here. Chesterton's getting some bodies in. Merrillville's rotating some kids in. This lead right now was 8 points. That's manageable. You can't allow Chesterton to push that out to 12. And if you're Chesterton, you don't want Merrillville to cut that to 3 or 4. So it's a big minute and 5.
Ransom, started by Noah Martin.
A little miscommunication on what we were doing there.
Nearly a 5-second call on Ello. That's the exact opposite of what the Trojans want.
Basila's got to be smart there. He's getting a little pushy in the post.
Watts.
He got bailed out with the reach in.
Martin, the infraction. Fourth team foul of this second quarter.
And now that changes this possession a ton now, because if you foul them now, they're shooting free throws. So that foul is bigger than, I guess, some others.
Watts got free. Stumbles, keeps his feet, kicks it out. Hewig.
Oh, Coop wanted that one. TJ will take it. Nope.
Watts open. He thought about it. He'll drive instead. Cross-court passing, 25 seconds left, likely last possession here.
Merrillville's help defense is what's causing all these drive and kick runner.
Ello offensive board. Back out Basila. 16 to go in the calf. And that one goes plus the foul.
And Merrillville's doing a really good job with their help side defense, and it's causing Chesterton to drive and kick and drive and kick. Merrillville's just athletic enough to close out on those three-point shooters so they're not getting wide open threes. So Bradley just has the length and was able to get up, and finish on that one, where some of the other guys are turning down that opportunity because there's a couple of 6'5" kids standing in the paint.
Chesterton replaces their offense for defense. Merrillville replaces the defense for offense.
Yeah, and they're gonna Tommy Cosplay's gonna come in. My guess is get Bradley off the floor so he doesn't pick up a cheap foul here in the last 13 seconds. Plus, what it does if he makes it is it makes the official stop the game for an inbounds play. But
Hardiman the rebound. Good move by Charles Hardiman. Then he lost the handle on it. TJ Ray, 6 seconds, plenty of time. Watts with 4. Watts is fouled.
Chesterton bench begging for an intentional. I don't believe anybody's buying that.
No. 10-point lead, still the largest lead of the night. They can extend with 1 point here. Here's Jalen Watts. Pops it in.
Jalen's been a pretty decent free throw shooter on the year. And his ability to drive and recognize when to kick out or understand when to take it all the way to the rim has been beneficial.
He's got 6 on the night. Josiah Jones the rebound. Heaves it at the horn. Oh, almost banked it in. And that closes out the first half. An 11-point halftime advantage for the host program, the Chesterton Trojans, 30-19. And we'll take a break. We'll have some first half analysis as well as scores from across the region. That's all coming up. You're watching the 2026 Indiana High School Basketball Tournament on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
It's time for the Commissioner's Corner, an exclusive weekly conversation about Indiana high school sports with the Commissioner of the IHSAA, Paul Neidig. Now for an up-to-the-minute report about what's happening in the constantly changing world of high school sports, here's Commissioner Paul Neidig.
Hey, welcome into the Commissioner's Corner. It's our weekly conversation with the Commissioner of the IHSAA, Paul Neidig. I'm Brendan King. Paul, great time of year. You just wrapped up the girls basketball state finals over at Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Process kind of resets now with the boys sectionals getting going, regionals soon, and then the state finals at the end of March. So let's just recap everything we saw from the girls' side. I know great attendance, some good ball games. How'd everything shake out in downtown Indy?
Well, anytime we're with our partners at Gamebridge Fieldhouse, the Pacer Sports Entertainment, it's a great weekend, and it didn't disappoint. You know, we had 8 teams make the pilgrimage in Indianapolis and get to play in the best basketball facility in the country. And so we had the morning session, the 1 and 2A games weren't as close as we would like, but I think there were still competitive games. And so then we took a little break and came back for the 3 and 4A game, and those both were barn burners and really great attendance and good weekend to celebrate girls high school basketball in this great state.
Yeah, obviously things finished up for an undefeated season for Center Grove, which is spectacular. Obviously, we saw what Belmont did in 3A. But, you're giving out the medals, and I know it's a yearly occurrence, but what's it like for you just to see the faces when you present those medals and the celebration ensues? Because that's what's special of everything.
Yeah, it's first of all, I've given out a few medals in my career here at the IHSAA, and it never disappoints. I mean, it's certainly if they put the red one around their neck, they wish it was the blue. But as time moves on, they understand the accomplishment that team had, even though if they were in second place that day. But then to see the people, the student athletes get the medal, the ones that I really enjoy are the bus drivers and the athletic trainers and the people that are around the team that have probably spent a lifetime within that school community. And today is their day to be able to celebrate with their girls, their coaches, and their town. And so it's really special to see those adults receive those medals also.
Sectional round of the boys tournament well underway, the regional round coming up here soon. And Paul, I know this is your wheelhouse. I mean, the hardwood is where you played on when your high school basketball career, and a lot of memories created. What is it about this time of year? And like you said, everybody plays a role, bus drivers, athletic trainers, student managers. But when you're actually getting to play in these high intense situations, what's that like? Well,
I think that's what you do. I mean, that's why you practice the game, why you love the game. And there's so many life lessons that people learn through the process of competing that carry them through the rest of their life. I often talk about those lessons being transformational, and they are transformational, but they're also transferable into everything else these student athletes are going to do. And many of them would not achieve great things without the ability to grow up in an education-based athletic system. And I'm so proud of the work that our coaches do and our communities do to help these students have a platform to grow.
You have any specific memories from playing in the sectional round and, just what that's like? Because oftentimes people say sectional is the hardest, section of this tournament to win.
Well, we didn't have a lot of success when I played, but, it was the prep where you got on the bus and you got to go practice at the facility and you had a special meal. Oftentimes people that had played at the school and past coaches, past athletes come back and speak to those sectional team. It's really everything that goes into preparing for that week. And, the game is important, but the memories are just as strong about everything else that goes into that preparation.
There's a lot happening this time of year. Of course, again, the girls basketball state tournament wrapping up. The boys basketball state tournament is just getting into its moments of intensity. And then we've also got girls gymnastics regionals coming up, followed by the girls gymnastics state finals. Those will be on March the 14th at Worthen Arena over at Ball State University. Paul, always love talking hoop. We appreciate it. And we'll talk to you again next week.
We'll talk to you soon, Brendan.
Thanks for listening to The Commissioner's Corner with IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig, and thank you for your continued support of the high schools in your community.
A note to our Chesterton viewers. Georgia's original Euro spot is presenting RSN game night coverage of tonight's Chesterton game right here on the Region Sports Network. Georgia's Euro spot. Dine-in, pick-up, or drive-through. Call 219-926-5435. The original Georgia's Euro spot. Halftime here at Chesterton High School and the Class 4A boys basketball sectional 2 semifinal number 2. Chesterton leading 30-19 over Merrillville. What'd you make of the way that second quarter unfolded?
Well, Chesterton pretty balanced in their scoring. I think, Merrillville is doing a really good job of cutting off the dribble drive part of what Chesterton's doing, but they've been able to kick it out and hit a couple of threes. Logan Picorni at the halftime, he's got 11. Right, and Jalen Watts has got 6. Bradley Basila's got 6, so it's pretty balanced. But Merrillville's making it difficult on them. Chesterton's getting nothing easy. And on the other end, Merrillville's athleticism has gotten them a lot of offensive rebounds and putback attempts, and they've got some shots in the lane. Not much to speak of from the outside, but they've been able to get the ball into the paint and get some pretty good looks. I think having Hill on the floor is important for them. We got 2 fouls early and had to sit out the bulk of the first quarter, but he was able to get back in the second quarter. I think, it's an 11-point game right now. This first couple of minutes here in the third quarter is going to be big. If you're Chesterton, you can come out, get a couple stops, hit a couple threes, then all of a sudden this is, there's some doubt creeping into the heads of the Pirates. And, if you're Merrillville, you win this first 3 minutes and, cut it by 4, cut it by 6, you're right back in the game. And I would anticipate that that's going to be what happens, that this thing's going to get this game seems like it's being played at such a faster pace than the previous game did. And, the officials it's very physical under the basket. There's people trying to get rebounds. They're getting after each other down there.
They are. Now it's going to be interesting to see how that develops in the second half. Time now for a scoreboard update. Follow all of tonight's Region basketball scores live on the hometown scoreboard. Streaming on youtube.com/Region Sports, facebook.com/Region Sports, and regionsports.com, courtesy of your neighborhood Strack and Van Til. Shop online for delivery or curbside pickup at strackandvantil.com. Final score between Lighthouse and Wheeler. Lighthouse winning it 68-65. EC Central defeats Griffith by a final score, or up in the second quarter rather, by a score of 19-10. EC Central beating Bishop Knoll 66-53. The final. Lowell defeats River Forest 45-32. Kankakee Valley, Munster and Lake Central tied at 25 in the third. Washington Township up 30-29 over Marquette Catholic in the third quarter. 21st Century rolling as well. They're up by 40 points. EC Central over Bishop Knoll 66-53. That is a scoreboard update courtesy of your neighbor Strack and Van Til Food Market. Strack and Van Til, your favorite Indiana-made grocery store. Mind you that coming up after the conclusion of tonight's game, we'll name the Crowd Companies Lancerman Superhero of the Game, Crowd Companies, the business professionals. And we'll name the Boilermakers Local 374 Blue Collar Player of the Game. Brought to you by Boilermakers Local 374. Earn while you learn with Boilermakers Local 374. And we'll name the Proud to be Union Player of the Game presented by Ironworkers Local 395. Ironworkers Local 395. To find out how you can become a union ironworker, visit ironworkers395.com. We'll take our final break. When you come back to start the second half, you're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
IBEW Local 697 isn't just wiring buildings. We're woven into the very fabric of Northwest Indiana. We're your neighbors. Our kids go to school with yours. We stand in the same bleachers cheering for the same high school teams. When you hire a union electrician, you're not just getting the highest quality work. You're supporting our community. IBEW Local 697, proudly powering our own.
Earn while you learn from the best hands in the business. The Bricklayers Allied Craft Workers for Indiana Kentucky Apprenticeship. That's right, this is a paid apprenticeship.
I'm getting an education while learning a trade and getting paid for it.
The thing that surprised me the most about this apprenticeship program is the respect I have received after the proper time and training.
Classes start soon, so apply now. There are training centers throughout Indiana and Kentucky. We are the Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers for Indiana Kentucky Apprenticeship, the best hands in the business.
Well, let's remind everyone that tonight's video stream is powered by Absolute Systems in Griffith, providing exceptional service for industrial engines, pumps, and generator power systems. For more info, visit AbsolutePowerSystems.com. Absolute Power Systems, powering your business. Absolutely. Second half begins with Chesterton controlling the basketball in the white uniforms. Merrillville in the purple. Largest lead of the game is the margin right now, 11, and it will not extend as Schneider left it shy on the rim. Michael Hill flies into the front court with it. Left it off for Caden Thompson. Thompson, good footwork inside, and he coughed up the ball on the other end.
Merrillville's quickness is making it difficult for Chesterton to run some of their set plays.
Basila fought through the contact of Jones and scores.
We got Basila as the rim runner, right? And Caden Schneider coming down as the trailer, reversing the ball to the trailer, and they're able to get that high-low, from the high post down to the low post. Nice entry. Hill's got to take that offensively. He's looking to give it up.
There's Watts. Good move as he hung in the air. And he scored, and it's already a timeout for Merrillville. 4-0 run out the gates.
And that's what we talked about at halftime. This is not what the Merrillville Pirates wanted, was Chesterton to come out and score 4-6 quick in a row.
It's a 30-second timeout. We'll stay right here, though. And we'd like to remind all of you to stay connected with all things Region Sports, as we are always active on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, and our website at regionsports.com. Celebrating over 25 years, we are proud to still be the only game in town. And now it's almost like you're back to the drawing board here, Wally McCormick, if you're this Merrillville Pirates team.
Yeah, and I think that's what Coach Patton's doing, is just really kind of getting them in there and calm them down and saying, hey, let's remember what we just talked about at halftime. This is what we're going to do on offense. This is what we're playing defensively. Coming off this score right now, I think it's important for Merrillville to do something to get a good shot. And Chesterton, that Herb's smart, right? You're drawing up a set play against man-to-man, so I'm going to change defenses coming out of the timeout. And this token man-to-man pressure is, watch, they'll probably just sag off. But what it does is at least it makes you initiate your the play that you try to draw up from a little bit farther out.
Hardiman through contact, no continuation in high school ball, so it's a foul on the floor with Schneider picking up his second foul of the night. That's the one guy that really got going. Charles Hardiman, a 20-point-a-game guy in the regular season, limited to 2 in the first half.
Yep, and when you put Caden Schneider in those defensive pick-and-roll situations, if they decide to switch on that pick-and-roll, Hardiman's a lot to handle off the penetration.
He penetrates, spins, and scores.
Yeah, that was nice.
First points in the second half for Merrillville. Breaks out an early 4-0 run to begin the second half as Hardiman gets his hand in to break with the passing lane.
Coaches hate it when you make those reversal passes with one hand. Because if somebody steps out into the passing lane, you can't bring it back. So, if you twist your body and go to make that pass with two hands, if somebody gets out in the pass lane, you can pull it back in. He's all over him right now. They're letting him play on the perimeter now.
Nice job. Deflected out of bounds by Thompson, and it remains with the Trojans in white.
Right, and if Thompson reaches for that ball with his left hand, that's a steal. But he reaches with his right hand, and it's a tip out of bounds. So
they're just trying to find a turnover and a stop here, chasing 13. Ray spins away from Thompson. Schneider to help, baseline cut, Jalen Watts.
What do you do with pressure? Attack it. Right, guys overplay you, you got to go back door.
Hardiman picked up his dribble and an errant pass.
One more.
Watts wide open.
Coming out of a timeout, that's the Pirates need to settle down here and get a possession.
Already up to a 17-point lead. Michael Hill tries to silence the crowd. He can't. Thompson a rebound. Back on out. Jones for 3. Yes.
It's a big answer. They needed that. 14-point lead at this juncture. There's a lot of time left in the game. They needed to see one go in the basket.
Corney skips it over to Ray. Driving baseline, wide open. Watts, he thought about it. Instead, he'll drive, and he left it short. Josiah Jones, the rebound. 3-on-1 the other end. And Norrie can't handle the pass.
Yeah, just took his eyes off of it a little bit early, trying to look for how he's going to finish.
Oh, man, that's a rough mistake there by the sophomore forward who was wide open, and Bo Patton saying, hey, you're good, keep your head up. That was 2 points gift wrap there for Merrillville.
Yep, and when you're trying to make a comeback, you have to take all those easy opportunities you get. You got to take advantage of.
We saw that in the first game with Hobart too. They had a lot of easy layups they missed in the second half when they were attempting to make their comeback against Valpo.
And missed 5 straight free throws, which would come back to haunt them. You know, they make a couple layups and hit those free throws, and that's a 2-3 point game.
Instead, Hobart's going home. Valparaiso stayed here to scout out who they could be playing tomorrow night. Loft inside, Basila battling his way to the cup, and it drops in.
Good no look. TJ Ray licked the defender off and able to hit him.
16-point lead. Hardiman.
Oh, that's got to be something.
Wow, and he earns a foul after all of that.
You know, when offensively against, good things happen when you get in the middle of the floor. Right, when the ball's over on the side, the entire team is cheated over this direction and cutting the floor in half. And when you're able to get it in the middle, you get looks at the basket, you get diagonal pass to the post, you get skip passes out to three-point shooters. And so consequently, defensively, you're telling people don't let your guy dribble into the lane.
Hardiman converts there. His second free throw is massive.
Yeah, it is. And Merrillville they've shot really well from the free throw line today. Right? 6 for 6, maybe.
Yeah. And they're a team that only shoots 67% of the year. That's a bad foul by Jones in the baseline, though.
Yeah, and they're going to give it to him. I like the idea of being aggressive and contesting the pass, but anytime you get a reach and fall 90 feet away from the basket, and what it does when you extend the defense, nice. Oh,
Basila there to recover and score.
And so what that full court pressure does is it disconnects their defense to where, you know, Picorni puts his head down and drives, and now they got number opportunities.
Hardiman picks up the foul. It's called by Picorni. That is Picorni's first personal. Team's fourth in the third quarter as Jalen Watts enters.
It's one of those things where it's a defensively it's risk versus reward, right? You know, you go for the steal. If you get it, yay. If you don't, because now you're putting your teammates at a disadvantage.
Meanwhile, Chesterton gets the steal. It's Ransom with Hardiman all over him. Great screen from Basila.
Yeah.
Ransom can't hit. Basila couldn't get the rebound. Hardiman could. Pushing the pace for the Pirates. Hardiman to the basket. No. Tipped around. Hardiman got his own and scores.
Yeah, if you're Chesterton right there.
And a timeout, 30 seconds by Chesterton. Back to your point.
You're doing drills all the time at practice, right, where it's 2-on-1. You're not going to be able to box them both, so box out the shooter. Let's not let him get his own, let's not get him his own rebound in. Sometimes you have a propensity to stand underneath the basket looking straight up with your arms above your head instead of getting a body on, an offensive player and backing him out.
They got it to within 14 with 3:43 left in the third quarter. What's the range they need to be in to close out this quarter, to which you could go in the fourth quarter saying, hey, we got a shot?
I think most people would say, let's get it to single digits, right? Or get it to 10. At least single digits is manageable. I mean, there's a ton of time left in this quarter. I think if you're Merrillville, you just need something good needs to happen so you can start to feel good about yourself, feel a little momentum.
First time out called tonight by Mark Urban.
The difficulty when Merrillville has changed defenses, they've gone to the little 3-2 trap and a little, 1-3-1 kind of look where they're trapping. Chesterton's done a really good job of keeping their eyes up and throwing over it, and they've punished them with layups every time they've done that. So right now, Merrillville's kind of got forced to stay in their man-to-man. And Chesterton's not able to beat them off the dribble, but they're able to get a step, which causes rotations and kickouts for threes.
Full court pickup, but no pressure and press really. Now here it comes. It's just a one-man press with Cameron Jones working against TJ Ray.
And he's doing a nice job because TJ Ray is trying to work him into that high ball screen. He's too athletic.
Basila scores! Just ripped right through the lane. Now have a shot to convert on a three-point play.
It's his third.
As Jones enters in place of Norrie. We've been tied once. We have not had a lead change. Chesterton's been the only team out in the front, leading by 16.
I like Coach Patton. He's control of his emotions. He's over there coaching. He's coaching kids as they come in and as they go out. Any time that, when you're on the floor and things are going poorly and you look over at your leader and your leader can't control himself, okay, that puts you into panic mode. And so, he's doing a nice job from a leadership standpoint of just being calm and coaching. He knows there's a lot of game left.
Longtime high school coach, 7th season at Merrillville. Here's Hardiman. Nice. Good spin around by Watts, and he scores.
Yeah, that's tough. He worked him up. A little bit higher towards the middle of the lane where he could come back to that spin move. That's a nice finish.
Within 14. Ello. Stopped his dribble. TJ Ray slashing his way through the lane. Ello there on the back door. And he draws a foul.
That's the same thing we've been talking about. You take a shot at a steal and you miss. Now it's 5-on-4, and Chesterton didn't get a basket, but they got a contested bunny that got fouled and put him at the free throw line. So, but when you're down, you understand the psychology of the kids thinking, okay, I got to make something happen, and so I'm going to go steal it or I'm going to go contest this.
Ello, a 42% free throw shooter.
Did he just make one?
It's the first. Yeah, he did.
Oh, look at him. He's on fire. They need to feed him. Now focus on him because he's warm.
5 points on the night, but he's been great on the interior. And his second one's waved off a lane violation on Basila.
And you got to shake your head here. That was kind of weird.
Yeah,
Two guys went down, both their hands on the ground.
Yeah, that's where they called the lane violation for it.
All right, so off the dead ball, Chesterton comes into like a three-quarter court 1-3-1, which is something that they don't do a lot of. But anytime you're showing people different looks, they have to recognize the defense and then get into the offense for the appropriate defense. So trying to at least confuse them for a possession. Back to the man-to-man.
Josiah Beckton, by the way, has entered the game for Merrillville. First time we've called his name tonight. Hill looked off the open man for three. Ello got switched onto him. Oh, look at that move, and a foul on the drive by Cameron Jones.
Cameron Jones is quick. And fearless, too. He's 5'8", taking it in with the big fellas. He don't care.
First personal on TJ Ray. And this might be the angle that gets Merrillville back in the game. They've been really good at the line today, like we've been talking about.
Yeah. And so now you just got to get there. And you don't get there shooting jump shots. You don't get there shooting threes. You get there putting your head down, going to the rack, and making people contest your shots.
And Justin, by the way, that was the 14th foul of the quarter. So 2:28 next foul puts Merrillville shooting the rest of the frame. As Jones goes 1 for 2. Hill picks up McCorney in the backcourt. Ray there for help. And Jones nearly stole it from Ray. Now they have numbers on the other end. McCorney, catch and shoot.
That would have hurt. That one would have hurt.
Jones on the other end, flying through the lane. Jones having trouble on the receiving end of some of those passes. Here's Cameron Jones. Right to the basket, no. On the other end, Watts Lofts it for Basila. Stops, pops, can't hit. Tipped around, and the rebound for Becton. 1:40 to go in the quarter. Hardiman broke through 3 defenders, and he draws a foul. And he'll go to the line for 2.
And Jalen throwing that lob, he threw it to the ceiling. Bradley does a nice job of fair catching it and trying to make a step through.
But that's right to your point, though. That was Charles Hardiman put his head down, just drove to the basket.
Yes, he did, and that's how they're going to get back in the game. Make Chesterton defend you off the dribble. Make them rotate over and take a charge, whatever. And once they start rotating over, you may get some kickouts for some threes. But because what you're doing right now isn't generating threes. And I feel like the quickness of Merrillville, there's a lot of matchups on the floor right now because Chesterton's going to play man, right? 95% of the time. There's a lot of matchups on the floor where they can beat people off the dribble. You just got to figure out where's the help coming from in order to figure out where you're going to pass it to. Pirates still working it at the line. I like to see that. It's.
They're hitting when they matter most, which, like I said, 67% of the team coming in. Hardiman, one of the better free throw shooters, only 68% though on the season. He's been good at the line so far tonight, though. As he goes 2 for 2, they're within 12.
And I don't know if you attribute it. We've seen people struggle at the line all winter, and I don't know if
it's
that's
been on both the boys and girls side too.
And I'm wondering if you can attribute some of that to that whole we're going to shoot threes and layups. Nobody's shooting that kind of mid-range.
McCorney stop, looking for help.
Yeah, so what we just figured out is Michael Hill could play free safety too if he feels like it. Dang it. All right, so
watch out in the region.
Yeah, here we are. We're in Eagle. Pass it. Work it back up the sideline. So Merrillville needs to try to keep them on that half of the floor. Don't let them drive to the middle. Because Chesterton's trying to drive to the middle, see where the help comes from, pass it to him, work it up the sideline. There you're right back underneath it. So if you're Merrillville, you want to cut the floor in half right now and keep them on this side. There's your help. Get underneath it.
Watts for Ray. 57 seconds. TJ Ray.
And so, that's a tough matchup with Picorni, as athletic as he is.
Watts to Ray again. 47 seconds left.
Some people are annoyed by this. I love it. You get it back with a minute to go and say, okay, we're up by 15. Come do something about it. One more, sit there.
31 seconds. Picorni, drive, kick.
Crown Point runs this exact same stall, and Crown Point's really, really good at it with their trio of guards that they have. Portage runs this exact same thing. It's not complicated. It's been around for 30 years in the region, but when you execute it, now Merrillville's smart here. Chesterton trying to.
Picorni! No, he deflects it out of bounds off the hands of Michael Hill with 3.8 seconds left.
So Chesterton tried to regroup, right, with about 12 seconds to go to run a set play. And what Merrillville does is run an extra defender at him, so that set play's now out of the window and turns it into a scramble situation.
There's the one argument, though, for the add shot clock critics out there.
Absolutely. The shot clock people are at home right now not thrilled about what they're watching.
Mm-hmm. A lot of other states throughout the Midwest slowly adding in the shot clock. Oh, look at the heads-up play by TJ Ray! And the foul!
Saw it today in the SEC, the South Carolina game on TV. Same thing today. Yeah, the shot clock debate, I don't know where I'm at with it. I don't really care. Whatever. I like the game how it is. If they put a shot clock in, I'd like it then too. But I certainly see the argument for both. I certainly know that I've seen a lot of basketball games over my life where maybe a lesser team or a lesser athletic team was able to shorten a game and stay in a game because of that. But I get it. I do like the idea of the shot clock because
Jones, no. That's how the third quarter ends.
I think it changes. You know, you got to have somebody. You got to have somebody that's a dude that you can get the ball to with 5 seconds to go in the shot clock, and they can get a shot off. I kind of like that part of the idea.
We've played 3, 15-point advantage for Chesterton. We go to the fourth. A spot against Valparaiso on the line. When you come back, this is Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
At American Testing Services, based in Hobart, Indiana, we specialize in NDT drone inspections and heat treatment services for local mills, fab shops, and facilities across the country. From Northwest Indiana to nationwide, we deliver precision, safety, and reliability. American Testing Services, America's trusted name in NDT.
Calling all current and future homeowners in the Northwest Indiana area. Whether you're buying or selling, Brent Wright is here to make your real estate journey smooth and successful. With years of experience, personalized service, and a deep knowledge of the market, Brent will help you find the perfect place or get the best deal for your property. Call today at 219-406-7195 and take the first step toward your real estate goals. Contact Brent Wright, the right way to buy and sell real estate.
Welcome back. We'd like to remind everyone that tonight's video stream is powered by Absolute Power Systems in Griffith, powering exceptional service for industrial engines, pumps, and generator power systems. For more info, visit AbsolutePowerSystems.com. Absolute Power Systems, powering your business. Absolutely. Calvin and Wally, fourth quarter here. 15-point Trojan advantage.
Yeah, Merrillville needs to get off to a good start in this quarter, or this thing's going to get away.
Hardiman. 15-footer, rings in and out. Schneider snags the loose ball.
I'll be curious to see if Chesterton goes back to it or they just stay in some of their traditional stuff, so they're going to play. They're not going to run.
Ray, that pass might have been deflected. He finds Picorni. Give and go, Picorni. Basila open baseline, hesitates, and puts it in.
Nice ball movement.
50-33. This ties the largest lead of the game for Chesterton. Hardiman accelerating to the cup. Oh, and how did he scoop that one home?
It's a nice finish off the wrong foot.
He's a 3-level scorer as Watts connects on the other end.
And he made a really good decision of not stopping at half court where he looked like he was going to, because then he would have got trapped.
Grant Hicks now. Merrillville needs a whole lot of stops and a whole lot of scores quickly.
Going sideways isn't going to help right here. They got to get downhill and attack the rim.
Open, Josiah Jones at the top. Yes, sir.
He's got a good-looking shot.
And a timeout called by Bo Patton and Merrillville. 52-38. Full timeout. We will take it with them. You're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
At Blyce, we're used to having the athlete shop at our store.
Down, sit, put.
But sometimes they get carried away. Blyce, this is where the athlete shops.
Located in the heart of downtown Indianapolis, the newly renovated Hampton Inn is within walking distance to over 30 restaurants and attractions, including Lucas Oilfield and Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Hampton Inn has much to offer, including a hot breakfast, high-speed internet access in every room, as well as a fitness center. Why wait? Make your reservations today. Call 317-261-1200 or make them on the web at hamptonin3.hilton.com. Hampton Inn, Indianapolis, downtown.
The Merrillville timeout. We welcome you back. 52-38 to score. There's TJ Ray, picked up full court by Cameron Jones. Watts there to help. Oh, Jones nearly intercepted that one there. Ransom in the corner. And they'll kick and reset.
Yeah, here we go. They're back in it. Running a different version here. Oh,
Basila moving screen.
Yeah, that one. And I don't know that he moved, but part of the problem is that, when Jalen comes off that screen, he needs to be closer to him to where he makes contact with Bradley. Because when you give a window like that, whether he did or not, it looks like he flipped his hip out and tripped him.
So his fourth personal foul sees Mark Urban take him out. The explanation given to the scores table is that he actually kicked out the leg.
Okay. I could buy that. Bringing in the X factor though now.
There's Jones. Oh, look at that little scoop and score.
Took one right at my man Gunner.
Attacked the 6'4" junior forward at 5'8".
Yeah, and they cut it to 12.
Ray open, Ransom. Back out to Picorni.
Chesterton's thrown a lot of skip passes here, and I don't.
Watts, great cut on the baseline.
Good read by Logan. Great cut by Watts.
Jones, he nearly dribbled it off his own foot, and he threw it away.
Well, all right, here. Watts went down. I think he's okay, just tripped.
Hello, waiting to throw a screen. Fans out. Valparaiso awaits the winner of this one. Ransom flew by everybody for the layup.
Yeah, and Cameron Jones is really laboring right here. He's hurting. He's trying to signal over for a timeout. Coaches are trying to tell him, hey, that this guy's hurt.
Easy layup for Hardiman. And an official timeout.
Michael Hill went over and told the official, hey, I got a teammate that's hurt. I'm not sure he got a Charlie horse or what he got there, but
so they're trying to explain the timeout right now because
they're not charging Merrillville with this as a timeout, are they?
No, they're explaining it's an injury timeout.
And if it's an injury timeout, what are we doing in the huddles? So
the wet spot. That's why they're adding more time. And that's why Mark Urban's saying, wait, they're burning a timeout here, and they were trying to get confirmation. Merrillville only has one timeout left.
I want to see Tommy get out there. There you go. Tommy Berry coming out with the towel to save the day.
It's on the spot where we saw Jalen Watts
trip and fall.
Triple fall, yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. I thought they were giving Merrillville a timeout. I was like, that's not right.
So back underway after the injury timeout and a slight bit of confusion amongst the officials and coaching staffs. 14-point game. And Picorni throws a strike to his head coach, Mark Urban, who caught it in stride on the sideline.
And he saw Ello open, and Gunner was doing the right thing, too. He was coming to the middle. It just, once again, you throw the one-handed pass, you can't pull it back.
So Jones, who was a big facilitator in this Merrillville offense throughout the entire game, currently on the bench with an injury. Hardiman kicks it out. Caden Thompson didn't like the baseline look. Backs on out.
A lot of time in the game.
Hardiman picks up a foul. That's going to be on Ray.
Yeah, that's a cheap one, too.
Or actually, sorry, they're going to put it. Oh, they put that on Malachi Ransom?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I thought they were going to call kick, because the ball kind of got tangled in there. But so interesting right now. Chesterton's got two. If Merrillville can keep attacking the rim and get to that 5 mark.
Hill, no. Offensive rebound. Hardiman, and he took it right out of the hands of Caden Thompson. Thompson had the easy rebound, and Hardiman flew in. That would have been an extra 20 seconds for Merrillville to possess it. Now Ransom kicks out to Picorni, and now they can burn a lot of clock.
So they're back in Eagle again.
That is killer if you're Merrillville. Picorni flew by everybody and left it short.
That's the thing about Logan. Like, everybody knows that he's a really good three-point shooter because he is, but he's more athletic than people think. And when he puts his head down and tries to turn the corner at times, he's tough to handle. And he's long, kind of hangs in the air a little bit. He's got a lot more to his game than just sitting there and shooting threes.
Full timeout, Chesterton. 3:45 to go. Trojans, the home team, still leading by 14. This is Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Sometimes the hardest part of improving your business isn't coming up with a great idea. It's knowing what to do with it. Chester Inc. Architectural and Construction Services is ready to meet all your industrial and commercial construction needs. Whether it's a small build-out or a complete construction project, Chester will design, build, and finance. Our team eliminates multiple contractors, providing you a single point of contact while staying within your budget. Chester Inc. Architectural and Construction Services, turning your ideas into realities.
Mortorano's Roofing is a family-owned business established in 1986, celebrating over 40 years. We have completed over 5,600 roof replacements, repairs, and chimney projects, focused in Northwest Indiana and Southwest Michigan. Mortorano's Roofing has always put family, friends, and customers first in our mission to complete roofing projects with the greatest care and consideration as if it was our own. Give them a call today for a free estimate at 219-872-8246. Mortorano's Roofing. Protect your past, present, and future roofs for you and your loved ones and your legacy.
Welcome back out of the Chesterton timeout. They have 3 left. Merrillville looking for quick answers where they haven't had a whole lot of questions answered tonight. Thompson stopped his dribble 15 feet away from the basket. Michael Hill working off a corner. Hardiman hoists a 3. Oh, and he hit it. Wow.
Nice shot.
Didn't look the cleanest out of the hands.
No, and he's got 17 now. And that's 5 seconds. Yeah, it was.
5-second call right before Mark Urban could get the timeout off.
Caden Thompson doing a nice job at denying 2 guys.
It's an 11-point game right now. Basket here from Merrillville. They're in single figures.
Yep. Well, yeah, this game, there's plenty of time if you're Merrillville.
Jones was open and he dropped the ball. Oh, that's killer.
Yeah, the pass was a little hard and down towards his knees. Tough to.
Ransom trying to get around Hardiman.
Yeah, and this is one of the ways that people that counter this little spread eagle game that they have is don't help anyone. Mm-hmm. If that guy wants to drive the middle, make him take you all the way to the basket and try to score because he doesn't want to do it at that time. A little chess match here going on between Coach Patton and Coach Urban.
That was an opportunity. That might be if Chesterton's able to pull away as Ray drives hard and draws a foul.
And when you play man-to-man against the side inbounds, the guy throwing the ball inbounds, it's so difficult to guard when he comes back off the sideline and you get put him in a give-and-go type thing.
Back to that last possession, though, where you get the 5-second call. That's one of those possessions where you look back on it. Chesterton pulls away. That could have been the moment for Merrillville where it's like, man, we could have gone within single digits.
Yeah. And mentally, single digits is a lot better than 11. Mm-hmm. With 3 minutes to go. And the other side of that is, maybe Chesterton starts puckering up a little bit and, kicks it, turns it over.
Back up to 13 now. Merrillville's got to go quick. They only have 1 timeout, though. Arrow not in their favor either. Here's Hardiman. Watts all over him. Calls for the screen from Jones. Hardiman blows by everyone. Stops from 8 feet and hits.
Something has happened since we went into that timeout and they broke out the Pitch Perfect 2 soundtrack. Something has happened here and the game has changed.
It really has. As a hold is called on Thompson. Yeah, they brought here the Pitch Perfect, trying to get the crowd involved, and ended up just turning to Wally and I singing along the entire time.
Which simply means that I have a daughter.
The cornies, pass was deflected.
Michael Hill.
And he scores. They're within 9. And a foul is called. Or the whistle blown, rather, at the end of the play. They're just going to give everyone a warning.
Yeah, and I don't know if somebody touched the ball.
I think Hill did after the play.
Hey, whatever. Got the clock to stop.
9-point game. They double-team TJ Ray, and a foul is called.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we got another guy going down with an apparent. He's all right, but we're going to have to wipe the floor again.
Yeah, it was a wet spot. That's Hardiman lost his footing. 4th foul of the quarter for for Merrillville. Chesterton, next foul they draw, will go to the line and shoot the rest of the way. 2:27 left, 9-point game.
That's about the 4th guy we saw go down today.
They clean up this wet spot. Calling all future Trojan basketball players. Have your young one work under Coach Urban, his staff, and others with the Chesterton Basketball Club. Visit ChestertonBasketballClub.com for more information and upcoming events. Full court pressure on again. Watts goes cross court for Basilla. Trying to break 3, and they steal it again. Hill now angling right. Backs it out for Noah Martin, and they can set up the offense. They're within single digits for the first time in this entire second half. Hardiman draws a foul.
Yeah, so now we're going to shoot. That's a really good job of turning down that ball screen there because the help jumped out. You know, Bradley is a capable post of dribbling the ball. The difference is, you know, he's 6'7". The ball is up higher when he dribbles, and you're able to chase it down from the back and get a tap out.
3rd foul of the quarter. It is the first on Jalen Watts of Chesterton.
Oh, yeah. So they
got
2 more to go.
Yep. There's Caden Thompson spinning back inside. Puts up a tough shot. It won't go. Elo Kids called for the foul. But more importantly, Caden Thompson shooting a pair.
Yeah, and it's going back to that idea of if you're Merrillville and you want to get back in this, keep attacking the basket. Make them defend you on the drive. And worst case scenario, you're here shooting free throws. And Merrillville's shot free throws really well today.
Thompson, just 60% as a guard this season from the line. And it's firm. That's the one thing that can't happen.
No, we did it again. Jinx the poor kid.
Sorry if Caden's fan was listening, we apologize. He can make it an 8-point game, though, at least with the back end here.
Yeah. And what that make does is allows Merrillville to set up the press. The miss, you know, they could jump it. A lot of people don't press off misses, but I guess at this
lane violation going the other way.
Second one of those we saw today.
Didn't go in either way, so in theory, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah. Still annoying.
Yeah.
But
when you get the steal there,
right now you got it. Clock stops, so Merrillville can set up the press. That's not good.
They break it easy with McCorney. Now they can go into that eagle look.
Yeah. There it is. Get underneath them. We're just going to trap the heck out of it now. So Chesterton's going to have to attempt
They pick the pocket of TJ Ray. Hardiman 1-on-2. Yes! They're within 7, and a timeout is called. Their final 30-second timeout. 58-51, 143. We got a ball game.
Yes, we do. Pirates just trying to will their way back into this game with effort, and they've been able to tip some balls out and get some steals, and they're tough heading to the basket.
This was once a 17-point game. 52-35 was the score in favor of Chesterton. Now you look up, it's 58-51.
And Hardiman, you know, look up now, he's got 21.
He has gone off in the second half after only having 2 points in the first half. 19 second half points.
And he was the guy that everybody talked about coming in, that was their guy, that was their point scorer guy. He hasn't disappointed today. Shot a weird collection of floaters and runners and some, he's got a lot of things to his offensive game.
Still a 3-possession game, keep in mind. Chesterton has 3 timeouts. Merrillville now out of timeouts for regulation. How about this fourth quarter push from the Pirates of Merrillville?
Well, the way we're sitting here foul-wise, every foul the rest of the game, we're going to the line by either team. So
Jalen Watts the inbound. He can run the baseline here.
Yeah, and so my guess, you got Logan Picorni going deep again. Caden Schneider should come up to clear it out. Nope.
He looked that way. Watts got it in, nearly threw it away. Ransom draws a foul, and he'll go to the line. Nearly another fantastic backside steal from Merrillville.
Yeah, and Malachi's probably, him and Picorni, but Malachi's probably Chesterton's best ball handler against athleticism and somebody hanging all over you. He does a nice job of taking care of the ball. And, for the most part, he's been a pretty good free throw shooter.
2 points. Ransom 74% on the year. Hits the first end. 8-point game again. So still 3 possessions either way. Two for two when you needed them most. 1:40 to play. Full court pressure on from Chesterton. Still a single-digit ball game. Hardiman trying to get around Watts. Stepped out of bounds.
And it's a good job of TJ Ray of putting his foot on the baseline so that if you're going to go around me, you're going to have to go out of bounds.
We'll have Michael Hill guard the inbounds pass from Jalen Watts.
Yeah, so if Schneider breaks up, we got to look for somebody to go.
Watts in the backcourt. Bounce it to Picorni. Picorni sprinting across the timeline and will dribble it back down out. Now you got to think about fouling here.
Yeah, he's so fast.
Gotta be careful. Did he get the timeout in time? Yes, they did. Heads up call by Mark Urban to get it off in time. Nearly a 5-second call, 30-second timeout. They have a 30 and a full remaining. 1:17 to go. If you're Merrillville, how do you get this stop here when I think everyone in the, not just the gym, but probably the county knows what's coming here from Chesterton?
Yep. Well, I mean, I think you got to work hard on the inbounds play, try to get a steal on the pass. If you don't get a steal on the pass, we got to instantly go to a foul. Now, everybody knows you're trying to foul. They're not going to call an intentional foul unless you just tackle somebody. So, go for the steal. You don't get the steal, foul instantly, put them at the line, see if you can, create some possessions that way. The other thing you got to keep an eye out here if you're Merrillville is because the Chesterton's already got it on them once. If they enter the ball, the Jalen is TJ on the give and go. So now in the backcourt, it's a long time to come get that foul. Here comes the jump. One more.
Watts not fouled yet. Will they foul? 1:03 left. Now they do. And it's one of the better free throw shooters on this Chesterton team, Picorni, who's at 74%.
Well, so Merrillville went with the strategy that they weren't going to foul right off the bat, right? They were just going to pressure them, and they end up committing a foul, but it took a few more seconds off the clock.
10-point game again. You're nearly back to square one if you're Merrillville.
Yeah.
Corny, 12 points on the day.
Chesterton probably press a little bit here. With no goal other than to make you turn so you don't get a full head of steam coming downhill.
Hardiman step back three, short. Schneider the rebound. Up to TJ Ray. Ransom, can they break half court? They are able to, courtesy of a foul.
Yeah, that's going to be on Michael Hill, I think, and that's his fifth.
It is on Hill, and that is his season right there. They put in a shift. Yeah, Michael Hill did.
Well, and really you're in the situation, too, where you have no choice. You have to foul. Now, does it stink for him because he's got 4? Yep, because he's got to pick up his 5th. But what are you going to do? Not foul him and let the guy take off 5 more seconds of the clock just because you don't want to foul out of the game? So he didn't really have a choice.
2 for 2, Malachi Ransom. And it's a 13-point game with 47 seconds left. Valiant effort from Merrillville tonight is going to come up short as Chesterton's dominant run throughout this sectional continues as Picorni
here
lays it in.
He missed last week. He didn't want to get yelled at again.
Probably a rough film session there. There's your exclamation point, though. It's a block from Schneider.
Similar,
yeah,
to a couple of the Valpo spikes.
And Chesterton will get Valparaiso for the second time in about 2.5 weeks. Hardiman, why not 2 more? Up to 23 points on the night.
He's tough. I've been impressed all night with Caden Thompson, too. He's so fast defensively.
That's going to do it. Chesterton, tomorrow night, and their own gym, will play for a sectional championship. Final score, Chesterton 66, Merrillville 53. And once again, another Chesterton-Valparaiso game with high stakes tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah. 2 neighbors, right? Conference rivals. Rivals. School on the same street. Keep in mind, too, for anybody coming to that game today, if you're coming to that game tomorrow, if you're coming from Valparaiso, that Meridian or Campbell or whatever you want to call it in that part of town is under construction and blocked off, so you're going to have to take an alternate route to get here.
So that's going to do it for the regular broadcast. We'll come back after our final break of the night with our post-game show. We'll hand out some hardware as well. You're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
When it comes to your money, you deserve more than just numbers on a page. You deserve someone who sees the full picture. Meet Mark Machnick, one of Northwest Indiana's most trusted accounting professionals. Whether you're running a business, planning for retirement, or just trying to make sense of tax season, Mark Machnick, located in Highland, makes it simple, personal, and believe it or not, painless. Contact Mark and his team today at 219-595-5290. Mark Machnick, CPA.
Some see a wrestling match. We see a 6-minute lesson in grit. Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
You ready? Let's go. Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, 100% reason to remember the name.
Your future starts
here.
At the half.
Welcome back. Post game here as Chesterton advances 66-53 to final. They will get another game with their arch rivals from down Campbell Meridian. Valparaiso tomorrow night for a sectional crown. Calvin and Wally with you. Let's hand out some hardware, shall we? Time to name the Crowd Companies Lancer Man Superhero of the Game. Crowd Companies, the business professionals. And the Crowd Companies Lancer Man Superhero of the Game tonight was Jalen Watts, the 6'2 senior guard from Chesterton. Came through, 20-piece night for him in a do-or-die game.
20-piece, played defense really well, got some contested rebound. The guys were getting after it under the basket trying to rebound today. It was Jalen did a lot of things well, and then throw in 20. Good for him.
That is the Crowd Company's Lancer Man Superhero of the Game. Time now for the Blue Collar Player of the Game. Brought to you by Boilermakers Local 374. Boilermakers Local 374. Earn while you learn with Boilermakers Local 374. The Blue Collar Player of the Game tonight was Merrillville's Charles Hardiman, 6'4 sophomore guard. Game high, 23 points tonight in route to defeat. 21 of those points came in the second half when Merrillville needed him most.
Scored in a lot of different ways, and he does a really good job when he attacks the lane of controlling his body, floating in the air. He made a lot of difficult shots today. He had a nice night. Offensively for them, kept them in it.
Time now to name the Prab Union play of the game, presented by Ironworkers Local 395. Ironworkers Local 395. To find out how you can become a Union Ironworker, visit ironworkers395.com. A lot of plays to pick from. Wally, what'd you go with?
Well, I think we talked about at the tail end of the first half about how that last minute was going to be crucial because the lead at that point was about 8 or 10, and Chesterton held the ball for a long time, ran a set play, and Logan Picorni hitting a 3 at the buzzer was, that kind of extended the lead, to 10 or 12 points where it was at halftime, and Chesterton was able to hang on and win. And ultimately, nobody cares, right? It doesn't matter if it's pretty. You win. Tomorrow night, you get to play for a sectional championship in your gym. Come in tomorrow and shoot in your gym. And as an added extra bonus, you get to play Gang Green in the Valparaiso Vikings. So I've been to some big games in this gym between Valparaiso and Chesterton, and I hope that that all the kids from both schools and all the fans, it's a close drive, show up here and fill this place and make it a cool atmosphere. And Chesterton won the first one; they won it big. They shot out of their mind in that game. You and I were here. They hit 23s.
Yeah.
Valpo can't play worse than they did that night. And if you're Valpo, Valpo Chesterton in the sectional finals game that's where you want to be, right?
Yep. And going to your point real quick, and I want to get just one key to the game, a preview to your key to the game for tomorrow night's sectional final in a second. But to your point, though, about that first matchup, Chesterton limited Valpo to 33 points. Second fewest points scored by Valparaiso in the Ben Listi era. The fewest points they scored in a game this season was the 33 they scored in that loss to Chesterton. 75-30 was the final of that game. So, real quick before we sign off, key to the game tomorrow night for that Valpo-Chesterton sectional final.
If I'm Valpo, I think it's getting shots on possessions. They turned the ball over so many times the first time that they played, where they probably had 15 possessions where they didn't even get a shot call. Mm-hmm. In the first half, they got called for like 5 travelings. And everything that Chesterton threw up in the air went in. Now, is Chesterton going to shoot that well again? Well, the odds would say that they that they can't.
The
right?
law of average has to come back at some point, right?
At some point, you got to miss it. And that night they didn't. So I think a big variable for Valpo in that game is keeping Wagner on the floor. We've seen him play a couple times. He's been in foul trouble. Keeping him on the floor gives them a chance because he does a lot for them offensively. And it'll be interesting, that it's Chesterton's going to play there too big, so Valpo will play there too big. So that's a pretty good matchup. I think that Valpo showed a little more depth tonight against Hobart than I had seen from them in the past. So hope it's a good game.
Going to be a lot of fun. Rivalry games are always fun, but rivalry games in the postseason, they got some extra juice to it that no one knows really what to expect. Both coaches told us when we talked to them ahead of that first matchup, hey, at the end of the day, you throw out whatever the other team is doing because it's a rivalry game. Expect the unexpected, and we expect the same tomorrow night. That's going to do it for us here at Chesterton tonight in this sectional semifinal doubleheader. Special thanks to our executive producer, Chris Ramirez, our operations manager, Rich Castillo, our coordinating producer, Zach Miller, our sports director, Mike Dewan. Special thanks to the coaches of each side, Bo Patton of Merrillville and Mark Urban of Chesterton, and to the ADs of each school, Amy Beckham of Merrillville, Jeff Hamstra of Chesterton, and last but not least, special thanks to viewers like you at home at the IHSAA Champions Network, regionsports.com, YouTube/RegionSports, and Facebook/Region Sports Nation. For our entire crew on hand who did a great job during both games of our doubleheader, our fearless producer, Zach Sinelli, and our great camera operator, Cale Bernard. For my partner, Wally McCormick, this is Captain Malater saying so long from Chesterton. The Trojans advance with a 66-53 win over the Pirates. You've been watching coverage of the 2026 Indiana High School Basketball Tournament on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
This broadcast is made possible by Strack & Van Til, your favorite Indiana-made grocery store. Ironworkers Local 395, proud to be Union. Four Seasons Mechanical, quality and comfort is our guarantee. Boilermakers Local 374, earn while you learn. IBEW Local 697, proud to support high school sports. Bricklayers Local 4, the best hands in the business. Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, keep you cool in the summer and cozy in the winter. The Wright Group,